This is a review of the Wasapi mobile application. I'm going to be breaking this up into multiple parts because there's a lot to cover. So once you log in as a staff user, you'll be able to see the dashboard, which will have key pieces of information that you'll want to know about. We'll cover that at a later point. And then you'll be able to swipe and see the entire menu. Now, a lot of these items are setup items that will only have to be done once, and there's certain items that will have to be done or reviewed on a continual basis. I'm going to start off by creating a new service order and walk through that process within this tutorial video. As you can see, I clicked New Service on the left-hand side menu and it took me to the New Service screen. I can select a new client that's already in the system. I can search by email or by name and you'll notice that it updates. Or I can select from the recent clients that I've selected. Or finally, I can add a new client by clicking the new. You'll also be able to set the customer service person and the salesperson for this client when you're adding it. Now let's go ahead and select a particular client. You'll notice that the client is selected and the default customer service person is selected and the default sales rep is selected. I can go ahead and change any one of these, and if I do so, I'll have the ability to set a different sales rep or customer service person for this order. If I check this Save as Default, it will set that customer service person or that sales rep as the default for this client. Let's uncheck it for now. The next step is to select the service that you would like to order for this client. You'll see all the different services that are set up in the system. Let's select the all-inclusive package as the service. Once a service is selected, we'll have to select a property location to perform this service on. Not all services need a property location, such as the website service, so this will only show up when a property needs to be selected. In this scenario, let's select the location, and what will happen is the square footage and the type of property will automatically be filled out if it was already added. If not, then you can go ahead and select the square footage and it will show you the pricing changes based on the square footage selected. You can also add a new property by simply typing in the address and clicking a specific address that you would like to add, and it will automatically add that address into the properties for this client. You can also delete a property by simply selecting the delete icon within the service location. Next, let's go into selecting the date and time for the services. Now, not all services will have date time selection, but the ones that do, you may see one or multiple different selection options. You'll see the duration for the service required for the 3D scan, and that will be based on the square footage. I'll change the square footage, and you'll also notice that the duration changes as well. Next, we'll go in and select a time. Now, if the service is not offered based on the service or the property address, you will see this screen. Normally, this screen will show up on the broker side, but right now you're seeing it on our side. So what we would have to do in this case is I'm going to change it to an area that I know already has service set up. So once you click Booking a Time, what you'll see is you'll see a schedule that of all the resources we have available in the area. Now, if we had more than one camera, you'll see multiple cameras listed here based on what's available. You can swipe left and right to change the day, and then you can simply select time and it will set that time, and it will select the resource that's available during that time. The photo shoot, we can also do the same thing. I'll show how to set up these resources in a later tutorial. Once the dates and times are selected, you'll notice that the completion date is automatically determined. And that's based on the settings that are set up for this service. This can manually be changed by clicking on the date and time and selecting another date. Or you can remove that and go back to the normal, or go back to the previous by simply hitting that X. Next, you'll notice that there's going to have to be an on-site contact. This is especially true for any on-site services. If it's not an on-site service, you won't see this option. So there are two types of on-site contacts. The client, or someone else, maybe a homeowner or someone else that's going to meet the technician on site. And you would enter in that information right here. In this case, let's simply select the client. And the on-site contact, then the next section is property access. Is there a lockbox, or is the on-site contact going to provide access to the property? And this is where this can be selected. Finally, invoice items. This service price is $695. You'll notice it all the way at the bottom where it says book now. If I wanted to add something additional, for example, some extra fee, and let's say it's a $50 extra fee I wanted to charge, I would simply add it as a separate invoice item. And I can add in as many as I want. Let's enter in an amount. Any special notes required that will show up when scheduling and also to the technician. And finally, any promotional codes. I can enter them here to give a discount. Then there are two options for payment. We can select a payment for this client, and when we select a payment, the payment method will be stored for the client for future reference. Or we can mark it as pay later. In this scenario, I'm going to simply hit pay later, and now I'm finally going to hit the buy now button. The buy now will give you a confirmation, and once you hit OK, it will process the order. It will take a little bit of time to process the order because of all the back-end tasks that need to be created for this order. But once completed, you'll notice the order has been completed, and you see a confirmation, and it'll take you to the booking screen. I'm going to talk about the booking screen in the next video.